Good evening, Timmy's. I got this request to make a Matka Miest guide a lot, so here it is.
I know.
A few things. This video is going to be about like the spawns, paths to take, main POIs, looting spots, and where you'll encounter people the most. I'm not going to explain every spawn because I feel like that would be very tedious and
I
also
hate that guy.
wouldn't even make that much sense. So, I mean, I will give you a general location of where you spawned if you don't know, and exfils connected to that, but I'm not going to like say if you spawn here, go here, and etc. Also, like 90% of this footage was taken from raids I was playing with fans in the Discord. Again, I play usually at night. I won't be on till like Sunday because I have things I'm doing today and Saturday. But if you hear a lot of background talking, that's why. I'll try to limit it next video, but I just wanted to push this out as quick as I could. Without any more blabbering, first let's go over the main POIs and the stuff that they hold. Now, the museum is kind of like the main spot in Matka. Although it's not in the middle of the map, it's kind of like up at the top to the left. It's still the most important part of the map easily. Here, Collector obviously spawns, but there's also a purple keycard spawn. And I feel like most people always check for those things. So the most action's usually going to break out around here or towards Scott, which I'll talk about in a second. To start off with the entrances, there are three, one of which is to the left, which I call exfil side. There's a main one where you walk in the front, that's main, and then there's one towards the side of graveyard, which I call graveyard. Knowing these three can be extremely important when you get into a gunfight. You want to say, oh, their main entrance, oh, their exfil entrance, oh, their graveyard entrance. Those can help a lot. There is a backside of museum, obviously, but there's no entrances there, so we're not going to worry about that for now. Now let's go in and see what it looks like from the inside. First up, we have the main room, which no, boss does not spawn here. Only a few loot crates do and a couple scavs. This room really doesn't have much. I would just skip it usually or use it to go up the stairs to get to the second floor. Behind the stairs, we have bunks, which is actually a pretty good loot room. It's not great, but there's like 2 or 3 lockers, and then there's guns that can spawn in crates and on tables. So if Collector is in your raid, I highly recommend you go here if you can. You know no one else is here. Finally, we have the boss room that spawns not only the Collector, but also a purple. The purple spawns on this crate up on the stage towards the wall, and it spawns about 1 or 2 inches above the ground. So you can actually see it on the other side of the room. It might take good eyes, but you can see it the second you walk in a boss room. Quick little side note, although this is the only room Collector spawns in, it does not mean that he is stuck in here. I'd say almost 99% of the times Collector spawns, he will move around the museum, if not map. So just because you don't see him in here immediately, I'd still look around for a couple more seconds just to see if you can find him. There is an exfil at this POI. Just go look at the map. It's like up and then to the right corner of museum. So that's where it is. And for the spawning, I'd say about 90% of them are if you spawn Riverside or on the opposite side of the map, you can exfil here. However, there are, I think, 2, maybe 3, I'll look over it again, bugged spawns, one of which is in Cathedral. You spawn like in between the doors and you'll spawn on like gray brick. If you just walk straight, you'll go straight into Cathedral. That's the spawn. And then the other one is you spawn kind of also close to Cathedral, but it's where you walk and then you can go left or right, but you can't go straight. There's a building blocking you.
Yeah,
I think that covers it for museum. There is a basement, but it's useless. I mean, it's just if you want to get from main room to boss room quicker, but whatever. So now we move on to Cathedral / House of Scott.
Okay, I might not use it.
Now, the reason I blended these two together is because they are very close. One is basically right under the other. And Cathedral also isn't crazy with loot. It's just a building you can go inside of, so that's why I just linked them. Again, Cathedral's cool, but there's not much in it. There is a new streamer item that they added that is on this bench, but other than that, this is just a spawn. There is also an exfil called Cathedral Exfil, and the same bug spawns apply. So instead of not being able to exfil here, you actually can, even though you spawn right next to it. I don't think there's any spawns where like you spawn far away and you can't exfil here. Next up, we have House of Scott, which again, it's not below Cathedral. I'll put up on screen where you find it, and it is one of the two vaults that you find on Matka. Other one is Tower, which we're about to get into. But to activate this one, you need a skull, the Uric skull streamer item, and a purple. You can use just a skull in hopes to find streamer items. The saw spawns right here, and then the Ranger's Handbook, I think it's called, spawns up here on this table. Cheese also spawns here, so there's 3 chances to get streamer items, each sell for 20k. Although I highly recommend you don't do that and you just get the purple as well, because the chance of you getting 2 or more I find is extremely low. I'd say maybe every 5 Scots I'll get 2 items, if that. This vault is also debatably the best vault in the game, so just bring the purple. The location of Scott is right here. It's pretty close to Cathedral. Again, you just have to walk through that red door and then go to the left. Take another left. You have to shoot that door open, and then you're there. Definitely do this, at least duo. I will probably make a guide on how to solo vaults eventually, but for now, just do it with the duo. Trio's better. Have your buddy sit behind that counter that you see when you first walk into Scott, and so he can just hold the door. I usually let whoever brought in the skull and purple, they go in first to see the vault. They don't take much, and then let their buddy go in, see what he takes, and just keep alternating back and forth so the loot's even. And then exiting, there is a vent passage that you can take, which isn't necessarily a secret passage. It's just there. But I kind of advise against this unless you do it like immediately, because the thing with that is it's metal when you're walking in it. So you can easily hear someone walking on metal if they're just waiting outside, so they'll know to creep are you if you're in there. And now for our last POI, we have Tower, which is also a vault. Tower is located in the far back of the map, and it used to be an exfil, although it does have its own. I'll show that in a second. But Tower isn't really anything that crazy. The vault is controversially the worst in the game. I don't agree. I think Silo is worse. However, this one's loot typically isn't great, and it's also very, very difficult to defend. There are these little windows that you could shoot through, although the reason I don't think that they're that great is because if you aren't looking for 1 second and you don't see a kid run up and start camping the door, then you're screwed. Because the second it's close quarters and they have AP, chances are you're going to lose that gunfight. Again, the loot isn't great. I have gotten lucky and gotten 2 Ragnars, 2 tier 6s, and an alpha or whatever, but most often than not, it won't even be worth your time. And the purple, if you find it in museum and you decide to run it, like if you're naked, I do that all the time. You might as well. It's free loot. If you just want to exfil with it, that's also fine. This is the exfil. It's just to the right down the alley of Tower. Nothing too special about it. It's not that hard to defend. I actually like this exfil because there's like an alley that you can see people coming at you. So this is pretty good. As for actually exfilling, depending on where you spawn, again, if you spawn Riverside, you will not have this spawn. You will have museum. Anywhere at River, you cannot exfil here. That's all I have for this guide. If I missed anything or you want me to double down on something, let me know. Next video, ooh, I actually am not 100% sure. I'll probably have that figured out by tomorrow, maybe tonight. If you have any suggestions, anything you want to see, comment that. I try to get it done as quick as I can. And if you want to play with me again, I am in the Discord pretty often. I think I am in the making of my own. Shout out to Jason. He's currently doing that for me because not only do I not know how to do it, I don't have too much time for it. So thank you, Jason. Thank you.